Good morning and g'day, mate. Welcome back to Dyson Sphere with myself and Mr. Icarus. Welcome to episode 30. Episode 30 is where we're going to take off. We're going to start doing some things. We're going to go into the end game. So, if you're here for the first time, this is the first video you've got. I do recommend that you have some subliminal advertising, and you slide down just below the video, click the subscribe button, because the subliminal advertising does tell you to do so. So, today's episode, we're doing a bunch of things. Yesterday's episode, we did a bunch of things. Let's cover yesterday's episode first. Yesterday's episode was all about decorating our little planet. Our little planet was a little bit bland, a little bit plain, had a little bit of foundations to rearrange parts of the planet, so we could have a place to build. And yesterday's episode, we did some foundationing. It was a bit of a longer episode, okay? But we went through, we color-coded our planet. We have our red section at the top for burning off all our hydrogen from our local gas giant to make sure the lights don't go out. We have our lighter, like aqua blue over here. It is blue, believe it or not. That is the one that is making quantum processors. As you can see, the blues are very, very similar. So that's our quantum processor build. Over here, in this section here, we actually have sails along with our rockets. Our rockets, you might notice we have 0 rockets available. We have a lot more rockets than that available. They have actually been shipped over here into some large containers, along with shipped in here. We have 10,000 available. The reason we have 10,000 available is I want rockets. I want a lot of rockets. I do probably need to look at some way of redoing this so I can... No, we're gonna just store up rockets. For each box holds 60 slots. Each slot is 10. Rockets don't really store terribly well in boxes, but we wouldn't have some extra storage for some extra boxes. Continuing around the planet, we have our dark blue. Our dark blue is our main production area. Main production area that makes all the important things that we might need to be able to build things. We have green science, which is on the green concrete, of course. Coming along further, we have purple science, which is literally just the purple science build. It's not more complicated than that. We also have yellow science right here. Very, very, very plain, very, very simple. Mainly because both purple science and part of yellow science has been moved into the brand blue production area. We finally come across to the main hub. This is our main loading and unloading zone. This is where everything is everything is made to be loaded into towers to then be shipped all over the solar system, all over the galaxy for us. This is what is our red loading zone. Finally, we have where we're standing at the top of the planet, which is our research hub. And we're standing here because we have some empty belts. We have 2 empty belts. The first empty belt happens to be our antimatter. It's very, very, very empty. Our second empty belt happens to be this outside belt, which is the one that the universal matrix is meant to go on, which is very, very, very empty. So today's episode, we're doing a couple of things. We're going for a quick jaunt across the galaxy. We're going to go off and we're going to colonize a new system. But before we do that, we want to go to Westernhusen. Westernhusen is where we're currently receiving all the power from the Dyson structure. The sub to JD Great Subliminal Advertising Campaign. All the power goes to Westernhusen, whereupon it's received by ray receivers, converted into critical photons. Critical photons get split into antimatter and hydrogen, and the antimatter gets shipped here to do matrix science. The catch is we don't have enough of it. So I have preloaded my inventory. I've preloaded my inventory with just about everything I can think of to go to a new planet. I hope. Worst comes to worst, we can always ship more stuff in. We have gone through the list, and I have picked up miniature fusion power plants. I've picked up 100 of those bad boys. Each one of those does 9 megawatts worth of power, so it means when we get to the new planet, we should be able to do at least 90 megawatts worth of power. On top of that, I picked up half a dozen solar panels, because solar panels, power. I haven't grabbed any mini suns, because we don't have a lot of antimatter, and I don't want to complicate our system by having our antimatter that we're making require antimatter to run to be powered to make more antimatter. Yes, we've picked up some rocket silos because, as I said, we have a few rockets to go. We're also going to new star, new system, so good idea to bring some rockets with us. I have some cannons. I'm gonna grab 100. It turns out. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Yep, 100 cannons. I've grabbed ray receivers. I've grabbed 44. I don't need miniature particle colliders, so we're not going to grab those. But we are going to go to Westernhusen to see what the status of our sphere is, and our ray receivers, and our power requirements. And then we're going to head across to our brand new system. So, on Westernhusen, around about here somewhere. Hang on. Nope. Haven't crashed yet. Still haven't crashed. Here. Come on. There we go. There is our ray receivers. Our ray receivers are actually only need 2.86 of 3.82. So we have 1.1 of a gigawatt spare, which is each one of these do 120 megawatts. So like one ray receiver. So we're logically going to put down 4. Because we're still firing cannons. We're still firing sails up. I know I could build more structure here, but I really like our advertising campaign, and there's really nothing to stop us pulling a little bit more power out of our sphere than it actually makes. Yeah. Is that right? Or is that 100? No, each one does do 100. Okay. It's going to overload, I think. 50-50. So I just added 200 on there, and that went up. I think I can add a lot more of these, actually. You know what? It doesn't matter. No, we'll just add the 4. Okay, so with that out of the way, our next stop is a brand new system. Brand new system is going to be Mr. Magnar. And the reason we're going to go to Mr. Magnar is we've been here before. We went in some outposts in the Magnar system, and I want to go to this. This is the Scarlet Ice Lake. This is one of the new planet types. In fact, it's my favorite planet type so far. So I figured that seems like a good spot as any to go to a new system and colonize. So we're going to head out to Magnar number 5. Magnar number 6. Magnar number 6, which we're going to also start renaming systems. Because one of the things I have been doing is I have been naming systems after lovely supporters of the channel, lovely YouTube members or Patreon members. Both of them have been featured in some of the names of these systems. This is why we're about to pass Coffee Capone. Coffee Capone is a lovely YouTube member, is supporting the channel, I believe, for the grand total of $1 per month. It is the absolution from Adblocker tier. It is the one that lets you turn on the Adblocker completely guilt-free and still support the content that hopefully you're enjoying. This is why you're here for episode number 30. At the same time, we're going to the Magnar system, which again, lovely supporter of the channel, also supported at the grand total of $1 per month. That is cheaper than chocolate bar once a month. That is just proves you just exactly how cheap JD is. 12 months of JD is cheaper than 1 month worth of Netflix. Let's just put things into perspective. Do you spend more time watching JD in a month in a year than you spend watching Netflix in a month? Yep. Okay, so we're going to come to the Magnar system. Magnar number 6, which we're going to have to catch up to the planet. I should mention, this is the planet type. This is the Scarlet Sea Ocean thing. What is it? Scarlet Ice Lake. Okay, I am very much a fan of this planet type. It looks super cool. Alright, first thing we need to do now we've got here is find out where the North Pole is, which is right above us. That's what I thought. Alright, so we're going to go to the North Pole, and we're going to start building out our infrastructure. I want to be able to ship things from our home world to right here, starting with an interplanetary logistics station. On top of that, I'm going to need more than just 5 slots, 5 different items. So we're going to come out to not as close as possible, being this tile. We're going to go 1 tile further and do the same here. And do the same here. And also do the same right there. Okay, so we have 5 towers. That'll let us input 25 different items. I'm pretty sure in most people's cases, you're not going to need more than 25 different items at any planet. This is why I've put down so few towers. In fact, you could even pull out the middle tower, but I like the middle tower because the middle tower, we're going to bring in all the basic things. Everything that you're going to need no matter what. And because it's in the middle, you always know where it is. We want assemblers. I want power poles, and what else are we going to use on just about every planet? It's probably about it, actually. I'm going to throw in warpers as well, okay? So the idea is, in your center tower, you're always going to find belts. you're always going to find sorters, you're always going to find assemblers, and you're always going to find power pulls. They are pretty much guaranteed on every planet. You're going to need those 4 items. At the same time, to simplify your logistics, I bring in warpers into the center tower. The reason I bring warpers into the center tower is we'll actually turn this on to remote demand and local supply. So the warpers will come in here, and then we'll use the little shippies to fly them out to other towers that need warpers. Okay. On top of that, we're going to pick any tower at random. It really doesn't matter which one, and we're going to set up the next tower. The next tower is going to need basic things that we're going to need everywhere. We're always going to need interstellar logistics, maybe some of the smaller logistics. On top of that, we're going to get both types of vessels. And the last thing I'm going to throw in here, which is not a guarantee that we'll always need, but it's going to be the bigger orbital collectors, okay? Just because it sort of fits in with everything else. And I've made sure I've put the interstellar logistics at the top because we use them the most often. And then we've got the littler ones, and then we've got our 2 shippies. Okay, next tower. Next tower is going to have all the things that we're going to probably need, like wind turbines. And like solar panels, okay? On top of that, you might throw in some extra things, like you might need arc smelters. Actually, no. Okay, we're gonna change our mind. We're gonna go with no, because when I start using them, I go through a lot. All right, so we're gonna go with smelters. We're also gonna put in miners. Miners are another one of those things that you're probably gonna use on every planet, but you only use it once when you first set it up, whereas assembly machines, if you start using assembly machines, you use a lot of them. You use the belts and the sorters at the same time, along with the power poles. This is the one you're going to go to all the time. Miners, you probably only go to once after you set them up. Who cares? You'll never come back to them. Last thing we're probably going to add in this tower is probably going to be chemical plants, because occasionally you're going to use chemical plants. It's not a guarantee, it's a sometimes item, so sometimes you'll need them, sometimes you won't. Okay, from there, we're going to pick one of our last 2 towers. So we've got 2 more towers to pick from. We can pick either or. We're going to put in foundation. Foundation is one of those things you're going to pretty much use on every single occasion. In fact, I'm just going to turn that on. I'm just going to have 10,000 foundations shipped to this planet in case I need it. That's really what it comes down to. It's in case I need it. If I don't need it, fine. It's okay. But it's here if I need it, okay? And then that leaves us basically these 2 towers we can choose to do what we want with, okay? Every single system is different, okay? Some systems, like this one, I might choose to bring in rocket silos. I might choose to bring in cannons. I might choose to bring in ray receivers. Hell, I might even choose to bring in artificial suns. I also might not, okay? So this one is completely up to you. These are all these infrequent, super high-tech items. They live with the foundations. Finally, we have our last tower. Our last tower is your, this one's unique to me tower, okay? Let's say this planet has oil. You decide you want to bring in oil extractors. Let's say you want to process the oil on this planet. You're going to need oil refineries. You're going to need storage tanks. You're going to need boxes. This is the one where you can... It's customized to each different planet, okay? Like, I'm not a fan of the satellite substations. You might be a giant fan. There's a slot in a tower specially allocated for it. You might find you have a local gas giant. Like, we have a gaseous planet. Unfortunately, it's a ice giant, which does mean there is a certain amount of hydrogen I can grab from here and I could burn off for power. So maybe, you know, in my particular circumstance, if I wasn't having something else for power, I might bring in thermal power plants. But I have brought in something else for power. I have brought in deuterium fuel rods, which we're going to set up remote demand for, and they're going to come into this tower. Now, a couple of basic things I do want to set up. I want to set up around about over 1,000 belts. Okay, the idea is if it gets under 1,200, we get a shipment from home base. Shipment is a minimum, the minimum amount that a logistics vessel can carry, which in my case, because I've got all the research done, is 1,000. Okay, sorters 500. The idea is if I get under 500, we will send off a ship with another 500. Okay, because my other end is capped to 500, that means I can go under the minimum of 500 per shipment. Power poles, I'm actually going to bring in 100, okay? But because my tower at the end in the loading station is set to a minimum cap of 200, it means the ship has 200 in the tower. It can pick up straight away. It's going to load all 200 in there. It's going to fly them to here. That's perfectly fine in my books. Warpers, it's going to be 100. Just the tiniest amount. But, it shouldn't send 100. It should set 1,000. going to have to investigate that one. It means some tower somewhere is set the wrong way. Okay, these ones, I'm not going to set these up just yet. We might use them. Same with these, not going to set these up just yet, because the very first thing I want to do is I want to get power organized. So power comes out of this tower, okay? The minimum amount I can ship happens to be, well, the amount that I can carry per ship is 1,000. Even if my minimum is under 400, it just means when it gets down to 400, it'll ship across another 1,000. So what I want to do is I want to bring out a belt out to this line, number 1. And I want to wrap it around. There, to there, to there, to there. Okay? At the same time, I want to put in a splitter. And you might have noticed I didn't ship any of those across. That is, again, for that particular tower that has no use. Occasionally, on some planet, when I finally run out of splitters, I will ship in a batch of splitters and then promptly remove it probably there afterwards, because I don't need the splitters at that planet. I don't use a lot of splitters, but I'm going to need them eventually. Okay, and we're going to come down here as well. I'm going to build another circle all the way around, because I have a couple of these fusion power plants I want to use. Just a few, because it turns out we're going to need some serious power on this planet. We're going to need some serious power on this planet because I plan on launching rockets from this planet. A lot of rockets. A lot of rockets. Okay, so with that done, we're going to put down our very first power item, which is going to be a fusion power plant. Okay, and I'm going to put a sorter from there to there, and it's going to keep saying no fuel and no power. That is because there is not enough power on this planet in this power grid to fire up the sorter, which is a bit of a problem. It means if this system ever runs out of power, ever, it doesn't have enough power to boot back up. So I'd like to rectify that. The way we're going to rectify that is, first off, by putting down many more power plants. All the way through to there. You get a second row all the way behind. Yup. Come on. Come on, Icarus. Actually, let's just fly for this. It's going to be easier if we fly. Set that back down to minimum. Drag that to there. Drag that to there. Okay, and then we need to go to the start of our second layer. And I want to start 3 in so I can match the same spacing. Hit the plus button so the spacing matches. Drag from there to 15 along, which is there. And then whilst I still have them in hand, I have the same spacing. Okay, next thing I want to do is I want to go to the outside belt. The outside belt, same story. I want to start from here and I want to go, I believe it's 1, 2, 3. Now they have an even spacing between them because I want to put a second row behind them. I want to daisy chain them and I want to bring that down to the minimum distance. So the minimum distance is done. So now I know that the outside belt needs to have a spacing of 3. So I hit plus on the keyboard 3 times, and we only get to there before I run out. Okay, cool. We've added lots of power. But as I said, things are not powered. The sorters don't have any power. If we grab a power pole, and I put a power pole there, 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 and there, we now click on the power grid, and I need 60 megawatts worth of power. That's actually going to get a lot worse as I add in each one of these stations, which we'll just do really quickly for demonstration purposes. And my power is now 300 megawatts. I need 300 megawatts to equalize the power demand. But what I actually need is I need 10% of that. I need 30 megawatts worth of power for the sorters to start moving. Okay, so I need to get to 30 megawatts worth of power to have a system that will auto-reboot. I want a system that auto-reboots. So we're going to come and we're going to start from our first tower. Our first tower seems like a logical conclusion. We come into here, I'm going to have a wind turbine. I'm going to drag it from there to there. Okay, where you can now see the whole power grid goes red. More importantly, I am attaching the wind turbines to each of these large towers and making sure that they now have power. And we could throw around the wind turbines, and I don't even know what stats are for this planet. Wind turbine is crap at 70, and solar's not better at 85. Great. Let's click on this, and we can see we still need 300 megawatts worth of power, and we have 3. We're at 1%. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab solar panels. I'm going to go above the wind turbine and drag it as far as I can. Same story right below, and then wherever I can in the middle, throw in a couple of solar panels. Alright, rinse and repeat. Drag that out. Drag that out. Drag one there, and one there. Come to the next section. Drag those out. Drag those out. Solar. I don't know if changing the spacing... Actually, let's find out. Let's find if I can change the spacing on the wind turbines. Plus. Cool, that at least matches now. And go from there to there. Plus there to there. Nope, I still only get one in. I still only get one in. And I still only get one in. Yeah, didn't really change anything. Okay, so with all that done, we're up to 24.3 megawatts. So close, but not quite. So what I want to do is I want to come in here. And as you can see, these have a charging rate of 60 megawatts. That means they're looking to have at least 60 megawatts worth of power when they're fully charged, okay? When they're doing the last little bit, 60 megawatts worth of power when they start charging, and then as they get more and more charged, like most batteries do, the charge rate goes down and down. What I want to do is I want to drag that to 30 megawatts. And drag that to 30 megawatts, and oh, look. Oh, 24.4, and we have, 244. So if I go to one more of these, and I drag that down, we have some lights, we have some camera, we have some action. We're up to 900 megawatts worth of power. Because don't forget, these towers, these 5 towers up here, don't actually do anything. They don't actually have ships that fly out. Like, the center one will have some little drones fly out with warpers, but that's about it. And you might notice, as I said, they start off at 30 megawatts, but as they get more and more charged, the charging rate goes down lower and lower. So, with all that said and done, we have some power. We have plenty of power, at least until I go and do something with all of this. Now, we already have a power grid on this planet. I've already visited here once before. So we're going to put down 2 wind turbines to link the 2 grids together. Yeah, we have plenty of power now. Alright, so the first thing I want to do, now we're on a brand new planet, is I want to have a look at the planet. I want to see what it looks like. I want to make some plans. And my plan is that I really like this water effect. I really like the ice lake. I really like the ice lake. So what I want to do is I want to find a nice ice lake, which is go to the titanium and then fly directly south. And we should hit a giant lake, because on this planet we plan on fixing 2 things. The 2 things are, well, one thing. It's going to involve us fixing the amount of antimatter we don't have. And the way we're going to do that is with a whole bunch of rocket silos. I went too far. I went past the pole. Rocket silos. Many rocket silos. So what I want to do is, because rocket silos are not only heavy, they're hot, I definitely want to put them right here on the ice. So I want to go have a rocket silo here and a rocket silo, say, there. Okay. Now, I want to feed the rocket silos from the right-hand side and bring them across here. So I need to take a rocket silo, flip it twice, take a rocket silo, flip it twice, get Icarus out of the way, have a loader go from that one into that one, take this rocket silo, put it on this side, that rocket silo, and put it on that side. There's got to be a better way of doing this. What happens if I take you and put you there? And then I put you... that there, put that there. I don't think I'll ever be in a situation where I can copy the sorters across. So copy that, and no, copy that. Okay. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to spend just a moment copying these across. They're going to be flipped every single time as we move across the planet, because they're giant, they're massive, they're a little bit of a pain in the bum to work with, but they are really, really cool. And I think what makes them most cool is if we can just get to a little bit onto the lake, they actually have parts of the structure, parts of the asset actually dig in below the ground, so we can actually see them through the ice, which is, I think, really, really cool. So with that said, I'm going to just time lapse a little bit, and I'll see you guys in a second. Alright, with all the power poles put in, it should be just a case of heading into here and saying, you know what, I'd really like some rockets. I would really like all the rockets. And we should have all 10,000 being shipped out straight away. Which now means we can go into this interface, we can add a new layer, and I want to have a new Dyson Sphere. We're going to set these to 0 to start with, and drag this all the way down. We're going to explore our system. And this is very, very important to do. It tells you a lot of details about your system, okay? So we already can see we have a very, very high luminosity. If we drag the orbit radius up, we're going to see eventually we'll get to the existing sphere, which is number 1, which I can't delete, which is unfortunate. I really wish I could. And then as we drag this up, we're going to find that says too close to a planet orbit, which means as long as I'm outside that zone, that means that we're outside the first planet, which means if I put ray receivers on the planet closest to the sun, it can absorb power even on the dark side of the planet. So we know we need to come out to 55 and a bit thousand radius is gonna give us our Dyson structure that will cover our first planet. But first thing I want to do is I want to make a really tiny one. I want to make a really tiny one because I really like really tiny ones. I also like it when I can turn off run game. And we're going to come in here and I'm just going to paint very, very quickly a very, very simple structure. Okay, we're just going to go with points, just nothing but points all the way around the planet. I'm going to time lapse this as well because I got to say blue on blue is a little bit difficult to see, even more so when the blue of the sun keeps spinning, even though you've turned off run game. Everything else stops, except the sun. The sun just keeps doing what it wants. I guess there's no stopping a sun, but if we turn back on run game and I click on one of these, we can see each node needs 30 rockets, okay? 30 rockets, which means if I click on my solos, I can see we already need 1,800 rockets. Don't forget, I have 10, well, I have 9,000 here. I have 10,000 ready to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn on that one, and we're going to turn on that one, and we should start launching rockets fairly quickly. Fairly quickly is the hope. And my main plan is, 1, to absorb the beauty that is rockets firing faster than Icarus could walk across the planet. Just saying, it's faster than I can hike across the planet. On top of that, I just need to make sure the last ones have rockets. As long as the last ones have rockets, that means my daisy chain link worked. All of them are happily launching together, which means we come back out to this view. And that's my rockets over there at 300 degrees. So we want to swap around to 300 degrees. And then I need to zoom out and out. And that's my planet there. Yep, that's my planet. So I have 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one is currently launching 4 cycles of the rocket silos in the air. And that's it up there. Hang on, can we? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a third of the way? A third of the way. Let's go with a third of the way. Yeah, 6. I think 7. 7. What would halfway might be there? Yeah, I think 7 full launches of the silo should get us to halfway. Which, for the record, is like a minute and a half. A minute and a half flight time to get halfway. So it's about 3 minutes. 3 minutes at rocket speed from here to the sun. So, well, we can see them. They're definitely flying. They're definitely launching. They're definitely on their way. They definitely haven't got there yet. Yep. And if I click on a silo, it is 0 out of 1800. Dyson Sphere. 0 out of 1800. Yeah. Okay, so back into this view, I want to add a new layer. We already know that orbit radius, I want to just max it out. Max it out is always the best. Orbit inclination, we're going to go with 90 degrees. Just so it orbits the other direction. At the same time, I'm going to set this to also be 180. So it should start the 180 node, go over to the 0 node, and we're going to have just a slightly different Dyson structure view. And the reason I want this one is I want to be able to put those ray receivers down and have them absorb power on our internal planet, the one closest to the sun. So we're going to add this layer. Nope, that was the wrong button. That one, 90, 180, create. And up on this layer, I am going to literally do the most boring thing in the world. Turn off run game, and I'm going to go from here to here to here to here to here to here. That's all we'll do to start with. Just a little bit. That's what, I don't know, a very, very small slice of the pie. But we can see that added those few little pieces here. That one needs 160 rockets. That one needs 290 rockets. That one needs 290. That one also needs 290. Those very, very few nodes that we have right across the top of the sphere add a lot of rockets very, very fast. Are the first rockets going to get there yet? Okay, I've decided I wish to go and look at the sun. Yeah, they're making a mess of... They're trying to catch up. Because another thing with a very, very close node is they move very, very, very fast. Very, very, very fast. So we're going to have a few issues with rockets that are doing this interesting dance. Like, you know, they go right. So they go, no, left, 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 hard left, hard left. Yeah, okay. It's fine. They'll get there eventually. They will work it out. And we can already see we're up to 23 megawatts. Not a lot. But we already have a lot of rockets in the air. Let's come back to that view. We have, well, 150 have actually made it there. Okay, so next thing I want to do, before we're done with this episode, because we need to launch a lot of rockets, we want to go into Magnar number 1. Magnar number 1, because that is inside our sphere. And accelerate up, come on. And actually, let's see. That's rockets going overhead. If I accelerate to max speed, do I have any hope? No, those rockets are still faster than I am. Oh yeah, they're way faster than I am. That's the next rockets. Yeah, they're way faster than I am at max speed. Okay, good to know. Alright, Magnar number 1. We have warp power. This makes us ultimately fast. Okay, after crash landing into my face, we've arrived at Magnar number 1, which is a volcanic ash planet, which means it has a whole bunch of sulfuric acid, which is one of the things I'm going to collect from here. But what I want to do is I intentionally want to go to the dark side of the planet and make sure that this says like midnight zone, something bad, 290 seconds to winter zone. Can I get to a polar cap, polar zone? Somewhere where there's not going to be sun for a very, very long time, preferably. What's your inclination? Not high enough. Not high enough to get a decent polar zone. Okay, so it's a good 200 seconds before we get any sort of sunlight here, which means tropical zone, sure. And pop that right there, and yes, we already have 6 megawatts worth of power on the very, 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 very dark side of the planet. And it's not because of some magic, it is because I have, even though it's not built yet, okay, even though none of the rockets actually exist, and we'll go into this view to confirm, 0, 0 of 160. There's 29 on the way there. There is 101 on the way there. There is 0, there is 0, and there is 0. Even though it's not built, it's providing us power. In fact, we can start making photons straight away. So what I want to do is we're going to run a belt. You know what? We're just going to... Actually, I need to look at the planet. Yeah, there is a big blank space to our right. So what we're going to do is we're going to put down our very first one of these. We're going to put in our ray receiver. We're going to set you to photon generation. We're going to bring out a belt. And that many to start with. That many on the other side of the belt. We're going to have you do those. We're going to have to give you some big shippies. We're going to have to also put down what limited power I brought with me, which is a handful of wind turbines. How? 80%? 80% is better than nothing percent. Yeah, the power grid's going to scream at me. Now I could just swap a ray receiver over to get power. I could do that. But I'm not going to, because I want the critical photons. We're going to throw down those as well. We're going to set you to have a power rate of 300 megawatts. We're going to have warpers at 100. Remote demand, and that'll bring in 1,000, which is a little bit more than 100. But that's all we're going to do. That's all we're going to do. We're just going to start receiving on this planet as many critical photons as we can out of building range. Really? As many critical photons as we can. We will start producing them. As we keep launching more rockets, we will definitely get more and more power. As we launch more rockets and get more power, we'll make critical photons faster. At the end of the day, this particular interplanetary station has until we make 1,000 critical photons before it leaves and ships them home. So it has a while. It has a while to you know, stack up enough power. We have 1 so far. Yeah. Yeah, it's got a while. On top of that, I'm probably going to end up outposting this planet, because let's face it, there's resources everywhere, and I do want that sulfuric acid. So I'm probably going to put down a whole bunch of wind turbines and actually make a semi-reasonable power grid here, mainly because I want the acid. I want a lot of acid. I like to know that acid is covered. Yeah, there's a nice lake there. Alright, so with that said, this is where I'm going to leave today's episode. We have power sorted. We have warpers here ready to go. I should have dumped my own warpers into the station. I have so many. Oh, wow, I've got more ray receivers. Okay, I'm going to put down more ray receivers. We're going to end the episode here. We're going to launch a whole bunch of rockets. It'll take them a bit of time. 3, 6, 9... it'll take them a bit of time. Take them a bit of time to get up to speed. But at the end of the day, that's perfectly fine. As long as I start making them, we should be okay. As the Dyson structure progresses, as we get more rockets in the air, we'll start making more power. As we're making more power, we'll get more critical photons. As we get more critical photons, science will start running faster. And we're out on this system for a while, because, well, I'll tell you all the details in the very next episode, because I'm going to call it here. So thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed. I do hope you like where this series is going to go so far, because, yeah, we need to start working on some industrial levels of science. I want to be able to do these researches a little bit quicker than what we're doing them currently, and hence we're working on a brand new blue star with some oh my god, they're so close. That was at minimum distance. With our little ring going around. There we go. Our first layer of little rings going around, and that is a lot of rockets. That is a lot of rockets going out towards that other external structure. Anyway, like I said, wafted off too long. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's episode. Alright, bye.